Welcome back to the Hoops Temple podcast. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz, and joining me from New Zealand in his Chicago Clippers hat, Dylan Williamson.
Good morning, Nate.
How's it going?
I can't complain.
Well, I think the Spurs can complain a little bit. That Wemby showing. Now, by the time we'll release this, because Wemby's playing at 8, we're recording at 6. Hopefully, we'll have had a better summer league game 2. But what are you thinking? How are you feeling about this?
Well, the other option is that we can just record two different podcasts and then just post it depending on whether or not he's disappointing.
I don't like that plan. That sounds like a lot of editing.
just work for our professional editors, right?
Yes, me. Yeah, that has to do both of this. What'd you think of his debut?
Yeah, I mean, like, whenever you get this highly touted prospect come into the NBA, like, people forget my golden rule of rookies, which is like pretty much all rookies suck. Like, 2K does this every year where like the number one draft pick will be like an 80 something overall. And it's like, no, come on, man. Like these are rookies. Like, yes, they're gonna be cool and it's exciting and like they're gonna be really good, but like these guys wouldn't, they'd be lucky to make a rotation on a a high level of team. And so there's a little bit of that where people were thinking that Wemby was just gonna come in and then like, immediately be like a fringe all NBA caliber of player. Which like for sure I think you'll get to, but so yeah, there's a little bit of the disappointment factor in addition to just the fact that he wasn't that good. Apparently people saying that he seems tired, which kind of
Yeah.
makes sense given the amount of consecutive basketball he's been playing. But overall, like, yes, it wasn't exciting. The defense actually looked pretty good, I thought. And some of the passes he was able to make, even if he couldn't make any shots. But they definitely defended him like he was a star. His first touch, I think he tried to go ISO and they sent immediate help. So they're ready for him. He didn't blow my mind, but I think he's going to be just fine.
There were aspects of his game that I really liked. You commented on the defense. And a lot of that game, he was matched up against Brandon Miller. And the thing with Brandon Miller is that he's a 6'9" shooting guard. Well, it was like having a 7'4" shooting guard defending a 6'9" shooting guard because he stuck with him. He did a good job as well as protecting the paint. I remember he got the block on his 3 that I really liked. So like there were aspects of Wemby's game that I really thought were good. His ball handling and playmaking skills. People his size, I don't think I've seen someone do that dribble and level of passing, already. I think we just might need to have some more patience with the offense. His 3-point shooting wasn't great in France. I want to say it was like 30 something percent. It was like 31, 32, like low 30s, which, it's good. And people have said, well, yeah, he's doing it against competition. He's got that, he's got to take a lot of shots. Hopefully he gets better in the NBA. But I think maybe we overestimate what he could be offensively instantly. And he will still get a fair number of points just because he's going to have the opportunities, get the reps up in San Antonio. But he might not be a highly efficient offensive player his first couple of years.
Yeah, and like if we said before this game, like what are you expecting from like a stat line in Wemby's first like legit NBA season? Like it's probably, like you say, a fair amount of points and fairly low like efficiency. Like if he's like 42% from the field and 32% from 3, like I'm not going to be surprised. I think that might be like my baseline expectation even before this game. But the rookie season isn't about the efficiency; it's about the flashes more than the totality. It's like, can you see the moments where what this fully formed player will become? And yeah, like you say, enough positives out of that to not give up on him just yet.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, what did Paolo Banchero average? I want to say it wasn't 20, it was like 18, 19. If Wemby only averages 13 to 15 points per game this season, it wouldn't entirely shock me if he's just not scoring as much, but probably doing a better level of playmaking and defense. And really, if you can get Kessler Walker level defense with better playmaking and the ability to space from three, even if it's only at like 30 to 35%, that's an awesome rookie. I mean, Kessler Walker was closing in on rookie of the year if the season went on like 2 more months with his continued rise and Paolo's kind of decline. I could have seen Walker get rookie of the year.
Yeah, yeah. And like I think it's even like Evan Mobley might be another good example where
Hmm.
right away he was able to make a defensive impact, but the offense came along more slowly. So I think that's probably what we'll get more from Wemby, where um like both of us have said, like the defense looks like it's already going to be there and be able to be impactful um as a help defender and as a rim protector. And then you add in the passing and the playmaking and the dribbling and some of the versatility. Like I think he'll be able to have a positive impact on both ends of the field, even if, yeah, like you say, the box score line is like 14 points on 50% true shooting or whatever.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I love about just watching summer league is just trying to figure out like, could any of these guys stick in the league? Like, so many rookies, even top end rookies, wash out of the league like, pretty quickly. Who else have you seen that's kind of impressed you? Is there anyone that you've liked, or maybe a second time around guy or a rookie? I don't care. Just who else have you seen that you've kind of been liking?
Why don't you give me yours first? Because I guarantee that's where this question is coming from. Is there's like some guy that you just want to, some obscure player that you're like, man, I just got to get an opportunity to talk about this fucking
Well,
guy.
so I watched the Bucks Nuggets game, and Peyton Watson and Marjon Beauchamp were going at each other, and it was I don't know how your basketball is set up over in New Zealand, but like in America, you've got a high school team, you got a junior varsity, and you got a varsity. And it like reminded me when two of the varsity guys would stick around to like scrimmage with the JV. And these two guys were just so much better than the rest of their teams. And I was like really excited because both these teams have lost guys. Both Denver, losing Jeff Green and Bruce Brown. They're gonna need Peyton Watson to be something. And then Milwaukee, losing Javon Carter, Joe Ingles. It'd be really nice if Marjon Beauchamp could get in the rotation. And I was struggling because like they were head and shoulders better than most of the rest of the guys on the roster, with the one exception being Nico Mannion looked really nice for Milwaukee. Um, but they were both like I don't know what they 6'6", 6'8", but they're physical wings that could defend each other and kind of brutally went through some of the other guys just trying to make a roster. And I'm still not sure if I'm like sold that these guys are going to be contributors next season or if it's just the rest of the summer league players around them just aren't good.
Yeah, like I'm still haunted from the Josh Hart summer league, where
Mm,
it was probably his rookie season where he just went out there. Or maybe it was even his second season, um, where like he was like creating shots off the dribble and was like this two-way guy that just like dominated everything. I do think that like the summer league is more set up for these offensive guards. So guys like Nico Mannion, who you mentioned, who otherwise struggle in the NBA to deal with like the size and the physicality and the athleticism of some of the other players, where they're sort of more able to shine in this summer league environment.
hmm
Um, but yeah, it's the whenever you can see a skill or a characteristic that is something that would carry over to the league, like forwards using their size and using their strength. I think that's more predictive than some of the other stuff where we see, Glenn Rice Jr. is another example. Like this guy had an amazing summer league. I was like, oh my god, this guy's going to be awesome, and then he's out of the league like a year later.
Did you see Jamari Smith Jr.'s quote about the summer league?
No, I saw how much better Houston looked when he wasn't touching the ball though.
Oh, I thought he looked good with the ball. I'm a Jamari Smith Jr. guy still.
All right. I can't remember. Did you like him before the draft?
Um, I did switch around to being a Paulo guy. I feel like we
Yeah.
all made that switch like in the final week.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I think he's got a lot lower ceiling. I was just trying to find his quote, but someone asked him about, like, why are you playing in summer league? And he's like, well, we were 22 and 60. Like, I'm a second year player. I should be here. My team is here. We need to get better. And I thought he looked better. I thought it looked like he could take charge a bit more. I think actually all of the second year guys, maybe not all of them. I just finished watching the Pistons Magic rerun. James Wiseman does not look better than the average guy here, but a lot of the second year guys, like uh, Jay Williams of Oklahoma, the center, not the wing. They did not send the wing one. Um, but he got out there and he looked like he was playing at half speed and could do pretty much anything he wanted. And I felt like Jabari Smith Jr. looked really good. Looked like he was able to get to his spots and execute what he wanted to execute against Portland.
Yeah, and like that's going to be the big thing for him is whether he's able to become a high level of shot creator. Like you said, get into those spots, making efficient plays. If he's able to do that in the NBA and not just in summer league, that's going to be the make or break skill for him. And what Houston really needed to see. Um, and like you mentioned that the shot making is looking good. I kind of joked about how I liked it better when they didn't give him the ball. I think that it sort of flows a little bit better without him.
Hmm.
But ultimately, like the 2015 Atlanta Hawks don't win championships. Like it's about the star players. It's about guys who can create high level shots. And if he's able to do that, um, that's going to be the big swing for Houston. And he's shown enough out of the summer league to make you think that there's still a chance that he's able to get to sort of an all-star level of play.
Oh yeah, which summer league is hit or miss, and I'm watching it, and like the Lakers have this guy Hodges that just quick trigger, fast shooting threes, and I'm like, man, we could use it. We could use a shooter, but then I'm like watching him, like he looks kind of small for summer league, and then more I watch him, I'm like, I don't know that this is gonna translate, but Hood Shafino, I'm really liking his game. I'm liking his ball handling. He seems cool, calm, collected under pressure, able to catch and shoot, which was up and down this last year from what I've read in college, and now it's looking good. I'm happy. I think there's a chance that he could get rotation minutes. I saw someone say that the Lakers are just gonna give their guys the star treatment regardless, kind of same way how they like overvalued Caruso, how they overvalued Austin Reeves, and I'm like, yeah, but those two guys hit. Like we've done a decent job developing these draft picks, these fringe rotation guys from being like out of the rotation to actually being quality players. And while no one gave Austin Reeves a big offer, I feel like a lot of teams would have wanted to if he wasn't a restricted guy.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I feel like the Lakers once again like pulled out a pretty good offseason and managed to fill out the roster in a pretty good way. So it'd be interesting to see whether a guy like him gets the trust to actually play rotation minutes.
Yeah. I mean, our rotation is good until LeBron gets hurt or Davis gets hurt. We desperately need another big man, which I'm kind of eyeing Bull. Orlando cut him. I don't know. I want to see him. Like,
That's a very Lakers move to bring in Bol.
yeah, we just had Mo Bamba.
Isn't like Christian Wood on the minimum just like a very
Oh,
Lakers backup big man move?
I I would jump for joy if we got Christian and Wood. Like that would be so fantastic because I think him as a scoring power forward next to Davis as a center, like you could run the two of them at the same time, and that would be fantastic. But also, we don't need to play him if everyone's healthy. Like he is a offensive weapon off the bench in regular settings, and like not needed if we're in like a clutch playoff game.
Yeah, and also scalable. Like LeBron's not going to play 80 games. Anthony Davis is going to be day to day in every situation, and so like when you've got there are certain times in the regular season where you just need a guy that can get you a little bit of a little bit of offense, and he could hopefully do that.
Yeah.
Man, like I don't, I know we're not really talking about free agency, but like I don't really see where else another offer's coming from. Maybe he gets the old, Phoenix Suns 1+1 at the minimum.
Well, he was sitting next to Troy Weaver, the Pistons GM, during the Pistons Magic game. Just kind of one segue back to summer league, but two, maybe he's trying to go back to Detroit. It's not like they don't have a glut of bigs.
I was gonna say it'd be their fifth choice center.
Oh my gosh, they're running the summer league. We got Wiseman and Duran out there. Duran looks nice. I'm he's ball handling. He's bringing the ball up in some circumstances. He's pulling up like not usually a fan of a mid range off the dribble pull up from like 18 feet, but he hit back to back of them against I think it was Kai Jones. Might have been their other guy, Najee. But like it looked good. He's catching and shooting threes. Like his work with Rashard Lewis is going well. So I don't know. That's got me excited.
Yeah. And like as much as you don't want a player whose game is built around, especially a big man whose game is built around like taking pull up mid ranges or even really spotting up from three, like you don't want that to be their entire game. Like
Hmm.
having the versatility, because sometimes like you can't get a good shot and that's the only shot that's available. So having the versatility to be able to make that kind of play
Yeah.
is still valuable.
Well, there's one
And
play.
of the 17 centers that they have under contract, he seems like by far the most promising.
There was one play where Wiseman got the offensive rebound and like tried to put his shoulder into the defender and just like was unable to create anything and go up for it. And he kicks to Duran who hits the three, and I'm just like, man, Wiseman, you are bigger, you are stronger than this guy. How are
It
you
was
not
like
able to?
it's like the cat versus boogie meme.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you should have been able to do something, but you didn't, and then you kicked. And like this guy in his second season is already starting to show more promise, show more development, and I want something good to happen with Wiseman. I want something good to happen with Bagley. I feel like Aaron's not here. I don't have to defend the Kings. Kings were a shit show for years. Like Bagley not being successful there, I'm not going to entirely blame Bagley. Wiseman gets to a superstar team. He doesn't quite fit the rotation right away. Fine, that's that's totally fine. But now they're in a developmental situation. And I just want them to be able to show what they've got. And Wiseman's not showing me what I want.
Yeah, I agree totally. Like you go from the pretty much the worst possible situation where like you're immediately asked to come in and sort of refine your abilities and fit into a role on a real high level of team. Where like for a young big man, like that's so much to ask. But then you get to Detroit where you've got more opportunities and like you just wish that you would see more.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like they're relying on him. They've still got Duran, they've still got Bagley, they've still got Beef Stew still on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hurting for bigs.
No. Well, other summer league big thoughts. I thought Henderson, Scoot, looked really nice, super fast and explosive. Got he's a point guard. He's gonna play make. But he was looking for his teammates. I think that's one thing in the summer league where you said it, like scoring guards can kind of look better than they will be in the NBA. But I liked how he was playing and actively looking to try to involve the guys and have it be a team flow, not just I'm going to come out here and drop 30. He did also hurt his shoulder and then not finish the game out. But no, him and Sharp. Hey, if Portland's going to be bad, at least they're going to be fun bad with those two.
Yeah, like almost feel like with his ability to create for his teammates and distribute that he might fit next to like another high level of scoring guard, and he probably was thinking that would be Damian Lillard, but like Shaden Sharp and Scoot Henderson is a pretty nice backcourt going forward.
Yes, provided they both can play some defense, which Shaden was not particularly good at that, but he has good measurables. Like You
Yeah,
know,
like he has good size. If he can like learn how to get into a defensive stance and you know care about making plays on defense and give some effort. Um, like some guys are just never going to make it. Like as a defensive player, like they just don't have the physical abilities. He at least has that, and that's just
mhm,
up to his level of effort and how much he cares about it.
yeah. I also thought Brandon Miller had some good moments. Yeah, I know his debut was shaky. Haven't seen the box scores from the Laker game that just finished, but he's got some tactical things. He's got the I come around the screen, my defender falls on top, let me step back, create that contact, and then pull for the shot. Like he's got some of the moves that I look for with star players, the intelligence around the game to try to figure out how to make it work. It's the game's moving a little bit faster for him. You can tell, like, hey, you don't have the lower level college players. All of these guys were the top players, and like it's moving a bit faster. But I think he's gonna be all right. I'm keeping my Brandon Miller stock.
Do the fouls concern you? Like, do you think that's something that's predictive?
No, no. I didn't get to see that game, the 8 foul game.
I mean, he's averaging like 6 fouls. So if you saw any game, then you saw a lot of fouls.
Yeah, but if he gets 4 fouls in a game, it's 2 games, and one of them he had 8. Like, you know, he's a 6'9" guard that's playing in a league that's faster than he's used to right now. Yeah, and you can tell it's faster, but I think he has the right technical skills that when he starts being able to catch up, which I think will happen this season. I don't think that this is going to be a long term thing. I think it's just he got out of college, he got thrown into this. This one wasn't quite ready.
Yeah, the only thing that would give me some hesitance and agreeing with you that like this is nothing once he gets into the league he'll figure it out is like it's not like he has a lot of defensive talent around him once he gets to the once he
No,
starts the season. Like he's gonna have a lot asked of him and he's not gonna have a lot of help.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. He's not my favorite for rookie of the year at this point. I'll say that, but I do still
Do,
think he can make an All
do
Star
you
team.
have a favorite?
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. And to join that long list of Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, these second year guys who missed their first, well, not second year because they're rookies, but guys who missed their entire first season and then come back and win rookie of the year on the second year of their contract, but their first year of playing.
Except for Embiid did not, which
Oh yeah, lost to Malcolm Brogdon. That's
he
right.
lost to Malcolm Brogdon, lost to the mayor. Yeah, I I don't think I think that actually could be a problem for Chet is the games played now that they've put in that 65 game minimum, which I think is a horrible thing to do for certain awards. I like it for All NBA, I like it for MVP, but like third team, can you let me put a guy that played 50 games on a third team? Rookie of the year, like, are we really just going to give it to whatever rookie plays 82 games? Because the rookie of the year is already slim pickings. Like, don't make me have to choose my All NBA second team by the guys that played 65 plus games. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, the all rookie teams are just the 10 guys who managed to play 65 games.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a year where there's only 9. Like, we grab Basketball Reference from last year and see how many guys qualified. And I know that'll be different because now that this rule is in place, teams will put a guy out there for a second to get him over the limit, but
Yeah,
it's not that many.
that's awesome. I'm glad the NBA instituted this rule so that we can get to see, guys playing 1 second and then fouling and checking out for the rest of the game.
Do you want to know how many guys did it actually this past year?
Yeah, what do we get?
You want to take a guess? And I will say, I
I feel
cl-
like there might have been a few because there were like some like sort of deeper, like less known rookies. Like a lot of, like the Pacers had like so many rookies who just came out and played well and played a lot. So I think it might actually be a reasonably high year. I'm gonna go with 13.
And I did pull all rookies, not just draft picks, not just the 1 through 60, but if you missed the previous year, if you were undrafted, we're looking at 15 guys.
Yeah. Like I say, I feel like this year there were quite a few sort of lower drafted, undrafted kind of guys who got time, um, probably more so than what you see in an average season.
Yeah. 2 years ago, it was 13. Yeah. We would have been looking at Corey Kispert, uh, All NBA rookie second team. I don't know. Was he already? No, he wasn't.
Do you
Okay.
think there's any accolade that's less impressive than All NBA rookie second team?
No. No, that is by far the worst accolade.
Like even like Player of the Week, I feel like is way better than
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
than all rookie second team.
I mean,
Like if
maybe
you're
you could
trying
say
if
rookie
you're
of the
trying to make
month,
it, yeah,
but
yeah,
even
like
then,
yeah, I'd take a rookie of the month over all rookie second team. Like if someone's ever trying to defend a player's stature and they bust out all rookie second team, then like it's over.
I mean, even like guys that go on to be successful. Like I saw that Paul George was an all rookie second team. It has nothing to do with your merit. Like rookie teams are absolutely garbage. They're just a bad thing. Like I saw a thing once and it was like, which award has Michael Jordan never won? And the answer was most improved player of the year. And I'm like, why? It's because he did wasn't bad. He didn't need to win it. Like some awards just don't matter. Like when guys are like, he won six man of the year. I'm like, so you're telling me he wasn't a starter? That's what you're telling me? Is that the team thought they had five players that they'd rather start than him?
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't really thought about that, but like there is like a sort of big delineation in like awards, like in
yeah,
terms of their historical perspective, like most improved six man, all rookie, even like rookie of the year.
yeah, doesn't
Like
matter.
those are really like yeah,
There are three awards that matter: MVP, All NBA teams, first through third, and All Star. They're the only things that say we are going to judge a player based on all of facets of the game and have some sort of rankings. And we can quibble and we can say, well, All Star gets it wrong every year. Sure. Out of the top 35 players, they pick 24 of them that to be All Stars. And you might have the 35th player and then not the 27th. It's fine. But don't come at me with all defensive teams. There's garbage awards that don't show anything. Like if a player is all NBA first team and not on the defensive team, and there's a guy's second team that is a defensive player, he is a worse player. Like we saw that with Jokic and Embiid for years, where the one would be second team and all defensive, and it just doesn't matter.
yeah. That's something you really convinced me on because I was like, I'm sure you've got this comment many times in your rankings
Hmm.
on TikTok about like, why don't you, include these defensive awards? And then I think like you've got the perfect answer. Like all NBA considers defense as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're an atrocious defender, they're probably not going to have you all NBA. Like all NBA and considers both ends of the ball.
Rudy Gobert is not all defense or is not all NBA center and defensive player of the year. No, he is all NBA center because he is defensive player of the year. That the one became the other. Ben Wallace, second team all NBA defensive player of the year. Like it's not like a bonus. It's not like he and Shaq are now equal because Shaq was first team and Wallace was second team and has Depoy. Like it's just we have the ranking systems. Are they
Yeah.
perfect? No, but
I
they're
I actually kind of wish they would consider offense more in like the like all defensive awards from the
uh,
from the perspective that
like you can't be on the court.
exactly like if your offense is so bad that you can't even play, like how are
Mhm.
you one of the most valuable defenders? Like Matisse Thybulle is a perfect example where like he's a really disruptive defensive player, and I
Yeah,
think he made all defensive last year. But like this, you can't play this dude more than like 15 minutes a game. So then,
yeah.
like, how how valuable is your freaking defense?
Zach Lowe was debating his team with someone before he submitted his awards, and he had that exact argument was, hey, the metrics, everything that I see, the eye test, Matisse Thybulle is one of the top 10 defensive players in the league. But would I rather have him or someone who can also play a little bit on offense so that way I can actually play him the whole game? And like Dallas just tried to sign Matisse Thybulle, and maybe this is when we transition to talk about their Grant Williams acquisition. Um, but I have Maverick fans in my life that were like, please, please, Portland, match this because like Matisse he's great defensively, but his limitations on offense are gonna just crowd things out so much. And like, Luka and Kyrie are all offense, Matisse would be all defense. And that's just not how you can actually build a team. You need some guys that can do both.
Yeah, and that's kind of the route that Phoenix went, who have managed to construct a really good roster out of mostly minimums or pretty much all minimums, is guys who have length and strength to compete defensively and who can make shots. Like those are the players that you need. There's no point in going, like it doesn't balance out. It's not complementary to have a guy that can't defend at all and a guy who can't shoot at all. Like they don't
Mhm.
average out at two good two-way players.
Yeah. I mean, if you just think about it, on offense, if you had Matisse out there, whoever's supposed to be defending Matisse doubles Luca. On defense, whoever Matisse is supposed to be defending runs a pick and roll with him and Luca so that they can now attack Luca. It's like you're not taking any of the pressure off the best guy, and you're not really helping him because it's just gonna be a little screen roll. Try to get that switch. Which so Dallas made a move. They've brought in Grant Williams, a bigger defensive presence, also a little bit of scoring. I mean, was it 2 years ago where he knocks out Miami by just hitting a ton of threes, or maybe it was Milwaukee? I forget what the 6-3 Grant Williams game was now a couple years back, but what do you think about it? Are we starting to get more positive about Dallas? I liked their earlier moves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's pretty much like look at the market and who was available. I think he was the best fit for them, and they got him at what I think is a pretty value contract. I think he's probably worth more than this as a guy who can defend big forwards and who can shoot. The one downside that I would say about it is that like they had to move off of Reggie Bullock in order to do this. Um, and there's this sort of idea that you swap out a 3 and D guy for a guy who's a better shooter and against like a lot of guys in the league is a better defender. And so, that's an upgrade, except that they are a little bit different in that your backcourt is Luca and Kyrie. And
Hmm.
like, you know, those guys are gonna be defending a lot of power forwards because you don't want them guarding anyone who can do anything with the ball. And a lot of time that ends up being the four. And so that means like Grant Williams is going to be like having to guard up quite a bit, which he's not necessarily good at. Like he's pretty strong. He can defend a lot of sort of the stronger guys, but if Luca's guarding the power forward, then like he's guarding the small forward or the shooting guard, and um, so that
Yeah.
would be the only negative I'd say is that I kind of liked them having a guy with more defensive versatility, with the ability to play up rather than probably play down the way Grant can.
I mean, there's just not a lot of good places to hide Luca and Kyrie. I'm looking at the teams that they're going to have to go up against. Phoenix, you can probably try to hide one of them against Josh Okogie, and the other one's probably defending Brad Beal. Like that's
That's tough.
yeah, that's a tough ask for Luca to have to guard Beal. Um, but that means you can put Grant on Durant, which is probably your biggest need. Against the Lakers, you're going to try to hide Luca against Vanderbilt if he's in the game. You know, maybe Kyrie against Gabe Vincent, which yeah, it's not the worst. But now you have Grant to defend LeBron. Denver, Denver, you're just kind of screwed because Jokic is going to find a way to backdoor or hit your man on the backdoor cut. So you can't
Yeah,
really hide those guys anywhere against Denver.
Denver, everyone's screwed because there's no one that can defend Jokic, and like, then it's yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a crazy thing when your center can pass that well and still be the offensive threat that he is to score. Because like trying to double him is just death, and they don't have anyone who can double him. So I think it's a great move. I think the fact that him and Austin Reeves are making comparable money just says how great of a deal Austin Reeves was again. I'll never stop chirping on that. I think it's great, great signing. And the fact that um, Dylan Brooks's deal. Did you see the Woj update on that deal?
Yeah, there's something with like incentives or non-guarantees or something. I forget what it was.
So it was initially reported 4 for 80. It's now 4 for 86, with incentives could be 4 for 90. Just just so much. So much. And it is fully guaranteed. I saw a report that it wasn't gonna be it was like a partially guaranteed deal. No, it's fully guaranteed, and with incentives could be 90,000 or 90 million.
Yeah, like I would have preferred Dylan Brooks for Dallas, but I don't know if they've got $96 million there with Kyrie and Luka on the roster.
No, you don't. No one has 90. I mean, apparently Houston has 96, but yeah. Aside from the Grant Williams thing, a couple of smaller moves. Dario Saric signed in Golden State. I love me some Dario. Just a playmaking big. He was on his way to a sixth man of the year before he got hurt. Has struggled to kind of make it back, but I think in Golden State, there's a chance that he could play a smaller role, like a 13 to 15 minutes a night in the regular season, and look really nice. I think his playmaking is going to help develop some of the young guys, the Moody's, the Kamingas, in that bench rotation with Chris Paul. Like they've got playmaking, they've got guys around them that don't have to do the Warriors' fully fluid offense, but can still set up the younger guys.
Yeah, and in addition to his offense, where like you say, he's a really good passer for a big man, and has some shooting ability, has some ball handling ability. There was 2 years ago, on Phoenix, his rim protection numbers were
Hmm.
randomly like really, really elite. Like guys just could not score at the rim against him for whatever reason. It's like maybe that was just like a fluke. Maybe that's just like a weird statistical anomaly that popped up. But like he does have pretty good size, and he's a smart player, and so having a rim protector potentially off the bench as well helps for Golden State, who, when they've been at their best, it's been on the back of really good defense.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that year because they went to the finals and he was hurt, and people were like, if only they had Dario, they would have been able to take out Giannis. Like Dario, the Giannis stopper.
Yeah, the only man that can stop Giannis from finishing at the rim is freaking Dario Saric.
Being a bit playful, but there was some of that talk of like, hey, if you just had a little bit more to throw at Giannis, like an actual backup big, not Frank Kaminsky,
Yeah,
could
yeah,
could be something. Let's
yeah.
see. Aside from that, we've got Paul Reed signing an offer sheet in Utah. I don't think Philly's going to match just because it's going to throw them above the second apron, and they also just signed Mo Bamba and re-signed Montrezl Harrell, and like it's getting a little crowded out there in Philly.
Yeah, like B-Ball Paul is like better than probably the guys that they've got at their backup end, and B's probably going to miss time, and so depth at the front court is pretty useful. And I'm sure they don't want to see him go, but yeah, like they've got a backup center. A B's going to play plenty of minutes when he actually is playing, and so you don't need B-Ball Paul to be a DMP CD half the freaking season for all of that money. And do you have the terms in front of you?
I
of the
don't, but
the funky Danny Ainge offer sheet?
no, was it weird?
So it's a 3-year contract. The first year is guaranteed. The second and third year are totally non-guaranteed unless his team makes the second round of the playoffs. And so for Utah, who are not going to be a second round playoff team, they only have to pay, they only have to guarantee 1 year of it. But for the Sixers, who are trying to make a deep playoff run, as soon as they make the second round of the playoffs, all of his money guarantees.
That's hilarious.
That's some great work from Danny Ainge, right?
Oh my god. The only thing that would be funnier is if you put in like a will unguarantee if you make the like conference finals, just like a second like slap in the face.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. No, there's absolutely no way they signed this. And that's also I have some mixed feelings about this. Like did you know Phoenix gave all of their minimum contract guys a player option?
Mm.
Do you know why they did that?
I heard Windhorse say that it gives an implicit no trade clause,
Yes.
which I thought was only the case if you sign a guy using bird rights, but apparently
Apparently
maybe
1 year guy.
a 1+1 at the
Yeah.
minimum gives you a no trade.
Which like I like that. It's sort of all right, we've got this kind of schemy way around the cap. But I do feel a little bit bad for Paul Reed here, where it's like, hey, I signed a 3-year, $24 million deal, but only if my team doesn't match it, basically. And even then, Utah could just cut me next year if I'm not looking like I'm gonna be worth $8 million a year. Like
Yeah.
that seems
And
a little shady.
I think this might be something that came out of the new CBA because I always thought that when a team gave an offer sheet that it had to all be guaranteed. And so when I first saw that it was, all these non-guarantees, um, I may be mistaken, but I think that might be something that's developed out of the new CBA.
It could be. I just it's very interesting that you can have a guaranteed um like incentive that he's really not going to do anything about. Like Paul Reed is not getting the team to the second round of the playoffs. I like Paul Reed. He's an undersized center, a below the rim four, which does not have a strong track record. I mean, like maybe Elton Brand is the best of those type of guys, and those guys do not have like a great ability to really impact. They're great off the bench guys. I mean, like what does his peak look like? A Montrezl Harrell? It's not moving the needle, but that's a weird offer sheet.
Yeah, it reminds me of the weird contract that Daryl Morey pulled out. Um, was it Nene where like it was so much guaranteed, and then there was like more that was non-guaranteed, but it guaranteed if you played a certain amount of games, and so like having those non-guarantees affected the cap mechanics differently, but then they could just not play him and he wouldn't, have that guarantee.
Hmm. It allowed him to be traded for a higher salary that he wasn't going to hit. Yeah, I think the league stepped in and said you can't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it was like he had like a $5 million bonus if he was MVP, and it was like, no, you can't just do this to juice the salary. Um, Although, did you also see Rashawn Holmes waived his note or waived his trade kicker to go to Dallas?
Interesting.
Right? Like
And he kind of had like a nightmare season last year in Sacramento.
he did, but he had a 1.8 trade kicker on his deal, and he waived it as part of the trade. I'm not giving up 2 million if I'm Rashawn Holmes. I'm just saying
I mean, he might start for them. Like if he can be,
he could.
75% of the player that he was, 2 years ago, he's the best center on their roster. And so it's either you get more of a role and the ability to maybe earn more money in your next contract the next time you're a free agent, or you know don't give up this $2 million and you stay in Sacramento where you're just not going to play.
Yeah.
And so like
I
I like a bit of sacrifice from a guy to get to a better situation.
yeah, I don't think that that's making the difference on that trade, whether or not it's happening, because they were getting off of, oh gosh, what was it, Berton's contract to get him. Like, you're saving money either way, and I like their rookie. Gosh, I believe I took notes for that one on my phone. Who were they playing? Playing OKC. Lively. This man is going to set 10,000 screens this season easily. I don't know how many screens a game, but like here's like, all right, let me run around screen here. Let me run around screen here. Okay. There's an opening. I'm gonna run towards the basket and try to catch it. And it was like, this is yeah, he has this very narrow window of what his game is. It's set screens, and when there's an opening, let me cut to the basket and try to jump and catch a lob. It reminded me of something between JaVale McGee and DeAndre Jordan, and
two,
I like it.
two, two guys that the Mavs don't have a great track record with.
No, no, that's a fair point. Dallas might want me to use some different comps.
Yeah, but in their prime, like guys who are able to be very effective offensive players despite having a very limited skill set.
Yeah,
Clear offensive positives despite having absolutely zero. Yeah, being totally bagless.
yeah. Zero shot creation, but very effective scoring as long as they're with the right guys.
Set good screens, finish loves, and shoot 69% from the field.
Nice. I think that's about all for free agency, but we did have the other exciting new thing, the NBA Cup, the Commissioner's Cup. The mid-season tournament has been unveiled. It's going to take part with group play in was it November or December that this is kicking off? In November, we're doing group play on Tuesdays and Fridays. Teams will have been split up into groups of 5 based on regular season standings from the prior year. Um, it was a random draw, but like 1 through 3 seed from last season put in different group. 2 or 4 through 6 different groups. Like I think it's unnecessarily complicated. Um, they don't quite say what the other teams will be doing after this group play stage, but I gotta imagine they're going to continue playing regular season games while the elimination part of the tournament's going on, so that way everyone can end at the same number of games. And then the final 4 will do a championship round in Las Vegas. Dylan, what are your thoughts? What do you like? What do you think they could do better?
I mean, I like that they're creating something new to get through the dog days. Like the NBA season's like too fucking long. Like it really starts to drag after a while. You've learned everything that you need to learn. You know who the good teams are, and they're just don't really care, and they're going through the just running through the paces. But um, this gives something exciting, and like the biggest criticism of the in season tournament is like maybe the top players don't care about it. Like, is Kawhi and LeBron, are they gonna quit their load management in order to compete for the mid-season tournament? Probably not. But like there are a lot of guys who do care about winning, who won't have a chance to compete for a championship, and I think it gives you something really awesome to play for. And like maybe it's a little bit complicated. Like I still don't fully understand like what is going on, but if like it's the self-fulfilling prophecy of like if the fans care about it and they get into it, it's going to be a big thing. Um, and it's going to be something to care about and to get into. And if the fans don't care, then it's not going to be important, and no one's going to care. It's tough.
Yeah, I I think that there's a lot of things that they could do better. I'm happy that they're trying in it. But instead of this weird group play seedings using the prior year standings because like teams change season to season. Like, you think about the year LeBron left Cleveland. Well, they would have been. I actually think they were like the 4 seed that year. But now they're like a garbage team. Why are we using the prior year standings? I like the idea of instead let's use divisions because I think that would actually get fans involved. Yes, some divisions are much better than the others, but it's a single elimination tournament. You got to play the teams at some point. Like this screws us over because the Pacific Division is loaded. So like the Lakers would have to play the Clippers, would have to play the Warriors, would have to play the Suns, and the Kings, and only
That's a
one.
really loaded division actually. Now that you mention it,
Yeah, yeah. It was the best division of basketball last season. Whereas like the Central Division was Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit, Indiana, and Cleveland. And it's like, all right, well, that's you got some good teams, you got some bad teams. Um, but I think if you did have this tournament where your group stage is against the same couple of teams every single year, and they're the teams that are physically closest, I think that helps build some rivalries. You have to see these guys every year in this tournament. Like it gives divisions some value. It gives proximity some value. You would have a Knicks Nets every year for something of value. You would have a Pistons Pacers even when the teams are bad for something of value. Like kind of keep some rivalry, some regional rivalries alive. Whereas this, it's like you could end up in totally different stages, totally different groups.
yeah, no, I do like that where you've got like this run where you've got two teams that are really good, to have them like going against each other every year, and like every year it's like, oh, these fucking guys again.
Yeah,
Um, like you get this, LA versus Golden State or LA versus LA kind of thing going on, and it also I think gives some value to the bad teams in that division. Like if you've got two teams that are tanking, like they're gonna like identify each other in the pool and be like, okay, as long as we beat these fucking guys, like we can take some pride in that.
yeah,
Whereas like if you're a bad team in like a random you know freaking pool where every team's better than you, like what are you doing?
yeah. And I mean, the way that they did the pools, there will be the top team, there will be the mid-tier team, there will be the bottom team. Like they made sure that there's representation of all spectrums from the prior season. So we don't know if it actually will be all good or bad this year because teams narratives can flip, teams players can flip. But like I just like the idea of like let's have something regional. And I'm kind of disappointed that the NBA didn't see that. I mean, how many years have we won the Lakers Clippers series? We could have a Lakers Clippers game to determine who makes it into the single elimination part of the tournament. Like you could eliminate each other every year, one game. Like that's a huge missed opportunity. And then the other thing that I'm just not a fan of is like I want the other teams to not play during that single elimination. I did check now. ESPN in their article does say that the other 22 teams will just play 2 regular season games at the same time as the elimination round. Like, no, skip those 2 games, put all eyes, all attention, all focus on the teams actually competing, and like do do it up. Sell extra sponsorships to those games. It's the only basketball I'll be on.
Yeah, I feel like playing regular season games while this is going on both like devalues the tournament and also those other games. Like, you're going to drag like some viewership away from the tournament, but also like you're going to have hardly anyone tuning into those just regular games.
Yeah, I
It's like,
mean,
yeah, like it's a little bit unclear. It doesn't say that like on that exact same day, like there's going to be other like bullshit games going on. So like maybe it's almost like all star like where there's like one freaking game on during that day. Like it wouldn't be that hard to do.
yeah. I mean, what best case scenario if the games are going on the same day and you've got Bucks Heat single elimination game and you've got a Pistons Pacers game. Well, Pistons Pacers fans, like we can watch our team or we can watch this other team, and like you're going to draw viewership away from loyal fans that want to watch their team because they've got this more exciting game. But like you're not boosting overall enjoyment. I also think it's a little bit early. Like this is November, December. Like we're like a month into the season. I mean, I know March is a bit late, but like I don't know, maybe we can move the All-Star game back and this takes like the place of the All-Star break. So
Yeah,
we've
I
got
kind of
something to
like
get hype about.
being like in thirds, you know, like you play a third of the season and there's the mid-season tournament, you play a third of the season and there's the All-Star game, you play a third and it's the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the worst. It's just like this is a month into the season. Actually, when is the first round taking place? It's November. It's November 3rd. So like the season starts October like 17th most years, 15th to 17th. So it's like 2 weeks into the season you're starting this tournament. It's way too soon. Like at that point just open the season with the tournament. Do like this an opening season tournament.
I like it. That's already better.
Yeah. Put us on the planning committee, NBA. We've got this figured out. Go by divisions, put at the start of the season, and your prize, the prize they dialed back. I'd heard it was going to be 1 million. It's $500,000 to the players of the winning team. Losing losing teams that make it to the finals get 200,000. Quarterfinalists or semifinalists get 100,000. Quarterfinalists get 50,000. 50,000 is like the minimum NBA fine. I don't think anyone's going to be going all out for 50,000.
Yeah.
Like even 500,000, you're not getting stars going all out for it. You might get the guys on the end of the bench being like,
I mean, the Stars might do it just for those guys on the end of the bench.
they
You
might.
know, it's like if I have a good game tonight, like I get this guy an extra, 25% what he was making this year. Like that, like will change this dude's life who, you know, maybe I don't care about that much, but like he's part of my team. Like he's showing up every day and he's high fiving me from the bench. Like I can
Hmm.
help this dude out.
I remember LeBron, having some very critical things to say about Daryl Morey with the China situation, in part because it cost Kuzma $1 million deal because that company pulled out of the endorsement deal with Kuzma based on just anti NBA sentiment in around the time that Morey was tweeting about China, and like you know, hey LeBron stuck up for his guy and said no, like we gotta get Kuzma this money, we gotta try to like he bashed Morey about it, and so maybe LeBron is going to go hard to try to get his teammates an extra 500,000, but it's kind of the transitive property things. I wish there was something a little bit more tangential, something like I don't know, uh, a cap exception that you could use, like you get another MLE to go sign another guy, or a trade exception, but can't be used with combination of a player. So you can just use that to bring in more help for your team. Something that's going to help them win a championship, or expand the first round to 31 picks, and the winner of this tournament gets the number 10 pick next year. Like I don't know. I think that there's more
Yeah,
more exciting incentives.
you're forgetting I already solved the incentive problem.
What is it?
We talked about this like a year ago. Um, the winner of the tournament is just guaranteed a top four seed. Like if you're the 9 seed, you're automatically the 4 seed. If you're the 2 seed, you're still the 2 seed, but you maybe don't have to try as hard because you're locked in at least the four.
Yeah.
Gives you improves your championship odds, gives you a better chance, and it's something that rewards both the team and the players. Whereas like a lot of this other shit, where it's like cash for the players or draft picks or um, exceptions, like it rewards either the team and possibly at the detriment of the players who had to go out and play for it, or it rewards just the players and you know the
Yeah.
organization doesn't have as much incentive.
What if it
And also
raises
having that like dramatic prize also like makes it really important to watch.
it
Like
does?
having this like huge thing is like, oh, this team is going to be a home court team in the playoffs. Like having home court in the playoffs, increases your chance of winning a round. Like this is actually going to improve a team's ability to perform in the playoffs. Like it actually matters. Whereas like for the fans, like why do I care if like you know freaking LeBron gets $500,000 or not?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, I do think, like, as fans, I would hope that our incentive isn't cheer for the players to get money. Our incentive would be a cheer because it's great basketball, because the players want to get the money. Like, transitive properties, yes, we're cheering for them to win money, but, like, hopefully we're cheering because they're playing very hard to try to get this money. Um, but I do think an automatic playoff seed doesn't work if it's gonna be an early season tournament. That is one kind of problem with the timing, just because then you are really devaluing the rest of the regular season for that team.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm excited that we're trying it. I, I think they went about it in an overly complicated way that doesn't make a lot of sense. But I am excited to try something new.
Yeah, for sure. Like what like what is the NBA giving you to like tune into a random game between two teams that aren't your favorite team? Like I watch pretty much every game that the Clippers play, and then I might watch one or two other games during the week. But like like why for an average NBA fan, like why do I care about any game that my team is not involved in? Um, and also, even like the average NBA fan, like why do I care about this game that my team is involved in because they're playing three other times this week?
Hmm.
And so yeah, like I like them trying to do something to make part of the season that's normally incredibly unimportant and uninteresting, more interesting, other than just like manufacturing these narratives to try to make something interesting. Like there's we're interested because of the on-court product.
Yeah. Which, if this cash incentive is going to get players to play hard, I'll take it. I don't necessarily know that it will, because just grand scheme of things, this is a very small amount of money for these players. And, like, if you play hard over the course of the season, you are going to get a larger contract that will be greater than whatever winning this tournament will be. Like, the guys who work hard and develop will see greater pay raises than 500,000.
Yeah. Once again, I think it's up to the fans. Like if the fans care about it, um, and like if the fans are making it a big deal, I don't think the players can go out there and just be like, I don't really care. Like if the players are saying like you need to fucking win this for our team, like I think that they actually will care. And so
Yeah.
again, it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy of like if the fans care, then the players will care, which will make the basketball good, which will make the fans care. And so it's like, I hope that the NBA fans get behind this, and like I hope that the NBA does well to market it, and to influence fans into thinking this is important.
Did you see their Richard Jefferson TikTok?
I didn't watch it, but I did see that that it existed.
Yeah. Not off to a great start. Kind of overly complicated. Like, just let's see it happen. Let's tweak it a little bit. We had the play-in tournament that got tweaked after the first year. I think second year is gonna be prime for this.
Yeah, like I kind of wish the NBA would like step outside of their usual like means of using these their main talking heads and like do you know like what a big deal like NBA TikTok is like
Huge.
explain this shit to these guys, give them some money, and be like, tell your fans, the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who love basketball, you explain to them why this is a big deal and you make it a big deal, and I'll give you some money. Like Adam Silver, like give Nate some freaking money and he'll make people care about the midseason tournament.
Yes, my 4,000 followers, of which I am multiple of them. No, I mean, you give it to Aaron or like Jokic Joestar, or some of the other guys out there. Like,
Yeah.
there's tons of us, and like, hell, frankly, just send me some swag, and I will promote shit. I'm very very easy to sell out right now.
It's not that hard. Like
Yeah,
even like
very
NBA
simple.
YouTube, like I'm not really big on YouTube, but like I imagine there's like massive NBA YouTubers. Like,
Yeah.
give them some shit. Like, I remember when HBO was bringing out House of the Dragon. This massive show with huge amounts of like media advertising. One
Mhm.
of the things that they did was like an advanced screening for the big like YouTubers, like these people who have a big influence on the fandom.
Yeah.
Like I wish the NBA would do something like that, which like almost this like more organic way of like you actually get directly to the people. You're not just being like, hey, Richard Jefferson, go tell people why they care. Like you're getting these people that they actually do care about to make it a deal.
Do you know who Allison Kush is?
I do not. Uh,
Okay.
If you're gonna tell me a porn star, I'm interested where this is going.
Very much not. She is a wife of an offensive lineman for I think he started with the Cleveland Browns last season, got cut, then signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Like a very low end professional footballer. But she does TikToks and also other things. They joke because she is like the breadwinner and she makes more money than he does, despite him being a professional
So,
American
so she's not
footballer.
just like a day in the life of the wife of a professional athlete. That's not like her whole thing.
It is kind of her whole thing, but like
Oh, but that on its own is like more valuable than the actual.
but it's like she has a job, but she'll like do it, but she does it like in a really funny way. She's like, a day in life of, a housewife, but it's like I go and like make multi-million dollars as like whatever I do. And then I go visit my husband at work and I take him a sandwich and it's like she shows up at the facility and he's like, practicing. She's like, it's very nice that they do these open board meetings where them and the other company negotiate their deals. It's like in front of everyone and people can come see them negotiate. It's like playing football. It's funny stuff. Like, but she's got millions of followers, and like the NFL will randomly send her swag. And like one of the big things was she's like, "I'm the breadwinner. We should change his last name. His last name should be Cush, not Rochelle." Like, and like the NFL sent her jerseys with his number, but it says Cush instead of Rochelle. And it's like influencers. They can get people on board with things. I'm not even like a big football person, but I watch a lot of her stuff and his stuff, and they're currently pregnant and expecting a baby, and it's exciting. I'm like, oh, that's really cutesy. But like, you could do stuff like this, NBA. You can engage your audience.
Yeah, like especially the younger fan. Like this is the way that you fucking reach people now. Like look at there's a reason that these people are making millions of dollars just for posting Instagram pictures. Like this is the way that you connect with people in the modern advertising world.
Yeah, that
This
and
is
threads.
postmodern capitalism. Like
Yeah, we're saying NBA. Send us some swag. We'll be your mouthpiece. Willing to sell out for like two Mitchell and Ness jerseys, maybe one, maybe a hat. Just you know,
add to the jersey wall.
yeah. Add to the jersey wall. All right, Dylan. Where can the people find you?
As at least 2,000 of your TikTok followers. I'm kidding. Only one.
Yes.
Waiting to do whatever you tell me. Like if you tell me to care about something on TikTok, I'm waiting just to do it.
And you can find me on TikTok at Hoops Temple Pod. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.